So in this episode of Viral Rewind, we're going to look at the COM-DOS virus. It's also known as C0M, as it would be spelled, but again it's pronounced COM. And COM is a potentially destructive virus. Let me run it here just because. And you see we get a little bit of a delay there, and then it prints out exec failure. Now what COM does when you first run it is not only does it take over interrupt 21H so that it can infect any other .com files as you run them, all the .com files here in this DOS directory have now been infected with COM as well the moment I ran it. It's only got about 200 bytes of viral code, but it writes that to the beginning of all .com files in the current directory, so every one of these .com files is now carrying the COM-DOS virus. And because of that, anytime they're run, even on a clean reboot here, if COM wasn't initially loaded, say if I try to run mode, it just reruns COM and does another exec failure. We can look at other ones in here too, like debug. That doesn't work. We can look at more. That still doesn't work. Format. Did I spell it right? Format doesn't work. So yeah, all these .com files are all broken now. That's the potentially destructive part of the COM-DOS virus, is it basically breaks any .com file. So you can no longer run it. It just gives exec failure and returns it to the prompt. Now, COM also has a payload with it. Not as bad as what COM does mostly during all the time, but at any time it's a Tuesday. So let me skip ahead to 6.8. So it's Tuesday. And before we get too far, if you look in our root directory there, we have command.com, and it looks pretty normal according to its file extension. But let's go back to DOS2, and if we run one of those programs now, it gives us a different printout. It says error reading drive C of bill me Tuesday, and this of course happens for any of the programs that you try to run on a Tuesday. They all behave this way. If we go back, if you look at our command.com, it's now command.c0m. So what COM does is on Tuesdays, when you try to run one of those affected programs, not only do you get that different printout from COM, it searches out the command.com file and renames the extension to .c0m, so that the system cannot actually find the command.com because the extension is not .com anymore, it's .c0m. But that doesn't mean that you can't do this and rename it back so that it's got the correct file extension. So the actual payload that occurs every Tuesday is not as destructive as what the virus does every single day when it runs with the normal infection, because again, as I showed, that breaks any .com file so that it never works again. It just helps COM replicate. So that's pretty much it for the COM-DOS virus.